So hello everyone.
Hello.
Today we are having a beautiful company all the way from Sweden, which is going to be part of Innovation Hub, our session where we bring top innovators from across the world who want to engage with companies and farmers in Asia and Africa. Asia and Africa has been the football for the world for decades now. But the challenge is that because of low productivity, we are not able to produce sufficient to our potentials. Company like Neurofy can help bringing innovation in reducing the waste as well as enhancing the productivity of both animal husbandry and on-ground agriculture. Today we are having Said with us, who is CEO of Neurofy, who would explain us what his company is doing and how it can be relevant to the producers and the ecosystem players in Asia and Africa. We also have CTO of the company, Mohsen, with us, who would deep dive in talking about how technology can play a vital role. So, floor is yours, Said, and we would love to hear more about your company from you.
Thank you very much, Deepak. I would like to start by thank you for all the initiatives you have taken and given us this opportunity to reach far away potential customers, partners in Asia and Africa, and that you have dedicated a big part of your job about sustainability and environmental issues. I would like to start by saying that CSense is actually a diagnostic solution company, and we have also Neurofy, which is a trademarked brand for our solutions. However, the baseline of our company and core business is that we are utilizing Odour as information carrier. I will give you a short history. I got to know a professor in 2014 who had invented an electrical nose since 1992, and he had 4 other partners at the time I met him. I decided to buy out the other 4 partners as I saw that this is my skills more he needs than anything else, and kept the professor as partner. Our goal was to industrialize the prototype that we had at that time and start selling it to the market. First customer to buy our prototype was actually for full price was Lantmännen. It's one of the biggest cooperative companies owned by 26,000 farmers here in Sweden, who used and still use another test method. However, it's an expensive and environmental damaging solution that they are using right now and have been using for the last 40 years. And they are asking us how they can get rid of this and use something like Neurofy solution. So 2018, I decided to restructure the company, the ownership, and the product, as it was bulky, efficient, and limited to only lab environments. You couldn't have it out in the field. My current CTO, who is in this conference as well, Mohsen, joined me at the same time I was going through this process, 2018. And we together managed to develop one of the most intelligent and efficient volatile organic compound diagnostic solutions based on AI and IoT. And let me just say that AI is actually a complicated area to manage as it is techies. Our devices to find a specific fingerprint, it teaches our devices to find a specific fingerprint, VOC, very fast, actually around 1 minute. IoT, in other hand, will allow that all our devices around the world, but also third-party devices, which are IoT enabled, they can be connected to our cloud platform. Among other main goals that we have is actually environmental sustainability, as our product produce zero waste. We have zero waste once you use it 100 times or 1,000 times or 1 million times. We produce zero waste. And it's a key assurance that we both help the humanity and our environment. Since then, we have actually increased in number of partnership with international companies interested in cooperation and use our product actually. And as the roadmap concerns, we will integrate face recognition and OCR, which is part of image processing, to recognize an animal, even if the animal is missing or lacking the ear tag. So currently, we are in the process of industrializing our latest prototype for 1, testing market, 2, diagnostic market, and 3, precision farming, which totally have actually a global market value of $7 billion US. Seasons is raising Series A investment at the moment and looking forward to have more engagement on that. Thank you very much, Deepak.
Perfect introduction, and I strongly believe, like every entrepreneur go through their ups and downs, right? The great companies are created when it is iterated a lot. We cannot have always a straight path. And myself being an entrepreneur, I understand working with the different type of co-founders and getting into the grind of reworking the product itself. We faced that challenge in Indonesia. I created a beautiful product. I thought it would get a design award, but my farmer said that this is bullshit. I have to rework on that. So those things happen. That brings me to a question which is very close to my heart, because as an Indian, we love our cattle. And because you touched upon that, the challenges of diagnostic of diseases in cattle is a huge market as well as huge requirement. How your technology is solving that problem?
Very good. This is exactly what my colleague Mohsen will explain in more details.
Sure thing. Thank you for the time, Deepak. On my behalf, Tim. Well, it's not a mystery that sick animals are very costly. In this specific instance, we're focusing on cattle and cow-specific diseases. But in general, the viral infections spread very fast. If you look at the industry 4.0, the farm industry has been actually digitalized very well. But if you look closely, there are some parts missing, and one of those important parts is diagnostics. Well, the reason to that is because it's very complicated. I mean, you need to have veterinaries and doctors involved. So that's why farmers usually rely on their own experiences and veterinaries, and of course sample taking and all those processes that are necessary for the cows to be treated properly. And then we realized this is actually a market gap that we could fill very well. So our products will enable farmers to have access to cost-efficient and accurate diagnostic device, helping them with the point-of-care diagnostics. Today, the farmers, if they're lucky, they will be able to indicate maybe 50% of their animals and find out they're sick in a proper time lapse. And then, if they're good enough, then they will separate the animals from the healthy ones, and then they will call the veterinaries. But we want to offer a solution that would reduce this time and reduces the costs that are always involved in this process. We have done a tremendous amount of research here in Sweden. I will give you an example. Just a simple flu will increase the costs in form of diagnostics, treatment, and production reduction. Will increase the cost of about 200,000 crowns per year for a herd of 100 cattle. And that is a tremendous amount of money. Of course, we tend to think economically, but as you mentioned, yes, the farmers, they love their animals. So They don't want to have them suffer. So you have to have a good and fast solution to be able to diagnose your animals and they get help from the veterinaries, for example. Well, that would be the first step. And then secondly, we will offer a completely autonomous solution in which the farmer don't even need to be involved anymore. The devices we will offer later on will automatically study the animal 24/7 and inform the farmers about any abnormalities, and even the veterinarians will be informed in real time. So this is the way we think we could have a very, very big role in farmers' life and the animals' lifespan.
Perfect, very well articulated. Now, another big market which your technology intend to solve is about the food waste, right? In Africa and Asia, you'll find the perishable product between 30 to 40% of that get lost across the post-harvest value chain. If you get an early signal of diagnosing any challenges which is happening related to the food product, that would definitely save a lot of food which goes waste. I would like to understand a little bit about how your technology can help in identifying and giving early detection in case there are challenges about the food waste.
It's a good question. My colleague said he mentioned VOCs. VOC is a short term for volatile organic compounds. These compounds are floating in the air, and these are the compounds that causes the odors, the smells around us. And these are common in animals and food. So these are really essentially the markers that we study are the same thing. These are the volatile organic compounds. But when it comes to harvest, there are actually 3 steps for a whole process. You have pre-harvest, you have the shipment and the logistics, and then you have the storage. Our solutions, we have devised different prototypes for each and every step to ease the life of the farmers and those buying those products. We have designed a solution in which we will ask our AI will ask the farmer to go and pick up a sample from different places in the field 2 weeks before the harvest. And we will test, well, the device will test, will smell the sample, and then we will create a map of the quality of the product before harvest. Then you have the logistics. We have a lot of different types of mold, but not all of them are dangerous. But there are some mycotoxins that we will come to a bit later that need to be tested if a product wants to go to human consumption. These need to be tested for each and every truck that comes to the storage facility, and this takes a lot of time. We can offer solutions to study the quality of the grain in the truck while they are being shipped to the storage facilities. So we'll save a tremendous amount of time. And then when it comes to the storage by itself, then we have, well, the only method today, even in most advanced countries, the only thing that the storage people can do is to control the humidity of the environment to eliminate the growth of mold. But nothing more than that, essentially. But what if something happens? There are no methods, literally no methods to detect the presence of any mold. And once it starts, it will grow very, very fast. And it's not just mold, it's insects and animal infestation. So we could control those and inform in real time about the presence of those things in the storage facilities as well. So we have, to summarize it, we have thought of all the stages, and we are offering different solutions, both hardware and software, based on the need of that specific stage to be able to reduce the amount of food spoilage and offering a better quality food.
Perfect. So, this would be a game changer because the value chains lead to a lot of losses. And if we are able to have early detection, and while the movement is not restricted of the product, while on the move you can test it, nothing like it, because currently it's a visual, examination is the only way most of the experts are able to find whether there is infestation or not. Now that brings me to another challenge. Actually, when we talk about AI and ML, the problem is data. Huge amount of data is required to make system learn, right? And when you talk about Africa and Asia, the challenge is that that data is not upfront available. How difficult it is to train your AI and ML algorithms, and how much data do you believe is required, and would that become a deterrent if for these type of economies?
Very good question. Well, as luck would have it, we essentially had the same problem here in Sweden. The data, those specific data that we need to create a fingerprint for a specific disease, we call it, or mold type, are not available here either. So we had to think outside the box. What we can do, what is the minimum amount of data we need to train the device in order to offer the first solution. And usually for training the device, we need about 100 to 500 samples to create the machine learning algorithms and be able to predict with an acceptable accuracy for that specific application that we're working on. And some of the applications are a bit more difficult, some of them are easier. And when it comes to the environment the device needs to be used, my colleague mentioned at the beginning that we threw out the old prototype because it was lab-based, meaning that you cannot use this product outside in the field. That was one of our challenges too. So we have adapted ourselves and our solution to the harsh, cold environment in Sweden. But of course, for a new environment, for a warmer environment, we will be facing new volatile compounds, new environment, new temperatures, new humidity grades. So we have to work on those things. But in order to be able to offer the first solution, we only usually need about 100 to 500 samples, well, data points. And then, of course, later on, the more data we collect, the better we get in terms of accuracy and the number of different applications that we can offer.
Awesome. So that brings me to another question. Actually, you already have a product which is well tested, commercialized, right? And at the same time, you're also having, I'll say, that view of what you want to create going forward. Can you lead me to your roadmap for your product? That what additions and what is the current status and what are the additions you're looking forward?
Sure. Well, the first step is to offer a handheld device. At the same time, we've been working on the platform design and mobile application design. These are all based on the needs that we have researched in the field. What sort of what user interfaces, for example, our farmers would need. But the hardware-wise, well, if you think about the hardware part of the whole solution, we will introduce a handheld device to the market to start with which the farmer would be able to go collect samples, for example, or bring the device close to the subject, for example, in this case, cow, and then do some specific measurements for a one or two very specific applications. So this would be the entry point. Later on, we will robotize the system so that the farmer don't need to be there anymore, so that we would save a lot of time for the farmer. And the transparency would be increasing every day because we will be able to collect data and inform the farmers and veterinaries, for example, or those buyers in real time about the quality of the product or the status of the animal. Later on, we will go to the harvest, the grain industry. We have oats, wheat, maize we're working on right now, and in the end, we have we do have a plan. Well, I forgot to mention actually something very important when it comes to robotizing the system. We will install and integrate a face recognition camera to identify the animal and even study their behaviorism, how they feel, how are they eating, what sort of habits they have had and have today, for example, and we'll give those information to the farmers. So we do have both face recognition, behavioral analysis, and odor recognition all together So we would be able to offer a complete package of the status of each and every animal. And in the end, we will be collaborating with universities and research facilities to offer them essentially a roadmap with all the orders existing in those specific applications that we're working on.
Deepak, let me just add one thing to my colleague's statement is that as we are focusing on Asia and Africa, I know that there are many countries not earmarking their animals. So to identify an animal will be very difficult if we are going to have a robot system which will seek each and every animal and do a diagnostic test. How do we know next time we come to the same animal that this is the same animal that we tested yesterday? So there is no, as we call it, for patient journal that have a history about our health and our sickness, whatever is needed to be there. So with our face recognition and also body mass recognition, we can, with 100% accuracy, create a patient journal for that specific animal, that each time, after 1 year, we have so much data that the farmer maybe during the last 10 years could not have this. And this is something we will offer for Asia and African markets, so they can use this in many other areas. And this is something actually today not existing in combination with the diagnostics solutions that are there. And we are actually the first one right now to combine these two. Because in the beginning, I mentioned AI, it has become a buzzword that everybody is using it. But when you go deep in the algorithm, you see that it's very simple, or it's something else that they are referring to is a program code that they call it for AI. Basically, in the end, is that what we try to do is create the artificial human brain that it can learn. So our diagnostic devices, they learn by time. In the end, they can do lots of good, predictions by themselves as they are learning. And these are the fingerprints that my colleague Mohsen was talking about. Please.
Awesome. So after discussing technology, let's come to something which is elephant in the room, right? Let's understand the business proposition. I would like to understand from you, which are the sectors, segments, countries, where do you see your future, I'll say that growth coming from, right? Because you are predominantly working in with a lot of partners in Sweden and around. When we talk about what you see going forward, are the specific sectors and the country you want to work in?
You see, first of all, the go-to-market strategy is in two ways. One is the direct sales, one is through distributors and partners. Partners and distributors need to have system integrators to have these to be installed. If it's our handheld device, you don't need any system integration. It's a simple app that the same way you buy your mobile phone and you turn it on, this is the same way our app. Once you turn on the device and your mobile app, then they sync and you just set it up, fill in your profile and start working. The other way, the go-to-market strategy is through integration of our solution into an existing system that it is at the farmers. For instance, in the Western Europe, we have companies delivering milking robots. And the milk quality is very, very essential, that you don't mix bad milk with good milk. So we could integrate this in the milking robots. So there are companies, international companies we are cooperating with already, and they want to take this. There are specific diseases that we can find in the milk. And last but not least, it is actually through licensing, white labeling, or OEM. There are like, say, a huge non-profit organization, governmental organization, or a company in specific country that knows all the needs and requirements for that country and just need our product and know-how, and they know how to sell it in the country. So we have these 3 steps for different way to go to the markets, actually. And the price is very, very affordable, and we have built it in a modular way, so we can actually adjust the price for the markets.
That's great. That's great. Good to understand that you are very well prepared to enter the difficult markets of Asia and Africa with a very clear strategy. And that brings me to the last question. In initial introduction, you talked about that you are raising Series A, right? And I would like to understand a little bit about, like, what is your funding strategy and where do you want to invest that money, and who are the investors, whether it is a specific type of investor or an investor from specific countries you are looking for?
Actually, when it comes to the regional perspective, we don't have any preferences. We are a global world, and we all live together on this earth. So we don't have any regional specific request. We are looking for actually 500,000 euro, and we are looking for a smart investment, meaning that the investors share our view of sustainability, about that we have to reduce the food spoilage. So the investor would be good if they have they are passionate about these topics. Otherwise, we have everything lined up in terms of industrialization of our product, because you don't know if tomorrow it shows up in Africa or it shows up in Asia. Asia itself is very diverse in terms of weather, climates. So we need to make it as a product that it can go anywhere in the world. And that is the process that we are looking for to invest in and industrialize our prototype.
Awesome. Thanks, Saeed and Mosi, for sharing your beautiful story. And I look forward to see your innovation used all across the world, including Asia and Africa. Those who are interested in working with Mohsen and Saeed, they can definitely reach out. They are tagged in this post of LinkedIn. And if you are on YouTube, please connect to us and we'll take your message to both of them. It was a pleasure talking to both of you. Again, thanks a lot and wish you a great day.
Thank you very much, Deepak. Thank you, and have a nice day.